Hello everybody, welcome to DFK's Draw Flash Dots channel. We are playing Hearthstone today, but not doing an arena like most of my other videos. I'm going to be trying to give my own personal advice as much as my advice is worth to you guys, but it is a deck that I've created for those guys who may have just received beta keys within the past weeks, and I've just kind of constructed a good deck to pursue in the constructed leagues. And by constructed leagues I do mean ranked. Currently, as you see from me, if we go to rank mode, I'm in Platinum 2 star. It's a okay reflection on my skill. I think I am a bit better than that, and I will keep progressing with constructive. I haven't really had that much time to put in the games, but I'm going to be showing you one of my pre-decks that I think is quite good for beginners. I may get criticised for this, and I'd hope that I get some constructive criticism on things that you guys feel that should be in the deck that are not. But this is what I think, and I think it's okay. And to be honest, I think it is quite good. So what we've got is Silence. Now there is the alternative of the Iron Beak Owl, but I do think for a zero cost of silence is quite effective just to get rid of a taunt or a character who's accumulated a lot of points. When I played with this deck, I did come against an opponent who was using the Frostwolf Warlord, I think it's called. It was 6 2 5 cost. And I think it's just there it is, the Frostwolf Warlord. 1-1 for every other friendly minion on the battlefield. He was running a small low-cost deck with a lot of little ones and focusing around this card, getting it to a 10-10. One simple zero-cost silence in the late game brought him down to a 4-4, and then he was easily finished off with a Holy Smite and another, and a Holy Nova, with a lot of other minions being taken with that Holy Nova as well. So that's the reason why I put in the 0-cost silence. Holy Might, 1-cost easy removal. Early game, your opponent uses coin to get out 2-cost 3-2 like the acidic Swampoos. Holy Smite can deal with it straight away, and you've just taken out one of his minions. That's why I've included just a bit of removal. Power Word Shield I think is a great card to combo as well with the Northshire Cleric for the draw. I do think it's one of the... It is a good priest card in all. Northshire Cleric is one of my other favourite cards. They help the downtrodden and distressed, as they do with draws. It's an easy card to combo off the hero ability, so that's why I chose it. Divine Spirit's another card. I mean, when we look at my deck further on, you'll see I've got a little bit of low cost cards with small health. Divine Spirit just makes it a bit of a bigger target for your opponent to take out, so it's a nice card for a 2 cost. That's why I've got it in. Shadow Word Pain is almost essential in a priest deck, I find. It's 2 cost easy removal. It's basically like putting a 2 minion and trading with another. If I use the 6 Swampoos as another example, it gets rid of a threat like that quite quickly, not allowing it to cause any damage to you. Faerie Dragon is a great 2-cost card, can't be targeted by spells or hero powers, much like a Mage Fire Blast, and can't be single target by, for example, a Frostbolt. It just is something that just eludes a lot of spells, and it's quite good to use, and that's why I've got it as another 2-cost minion. Shadow Word Death, pretty much the same reason as Shadow Word Pain. It needs a removal of a high-cost card. For example, I've had in the past where a player hasn't put any cards out 4 turns in, has a Mountain Giant within its hands, gets out a Mountain Giant, it's quite a big threat. A Shadow Word Death by your 3rd turn takes that away quite easily. It's a good card to keep in the deck. Now, I only have 1 Injured Blade Master, and if I go to my deck, I'd like to have 2, but this deck is kind of based around my collection of cards, as I haven't opened a lot of expert decks, so that's why I have quite a limited amount of cards which come with the expert deck, such as the Jungle Panther and the Harvest Golem. So this deck's kind of for the new players who haven't opened that many packs, much like me, and have terrible luck in the arena getting really crap packs. But Injured Blade Master would be a card that I take 2 of and probably sacrifice, I don't know, maybe a Divine Spirit or an Acidic Swampoos, because I do like it. And for 3 costs, it is a 4-3, and with a hero power at turn 5, you can make it into a 4-5, which is what I like to do with it. Shattered Sun Cleric, I do have 2 of these. It's a great 3-cost minion with a good battle cry to use as well. I did swap this out for a Razorfen Hunter because I did think it was a lot better to have. The Razorfen Hunter does have its bonuses, but I do think the Shattered Sun Cleric does a bit better than that. Yeti, another great card which everyone does have within their decks to use. It's an effective 4 cost really, and you can get out quite easily. Trying to think of other ways to say, but it is just one of those cards which is just great to have in your deck. Next is Senjin. It's a taunt. You need a little bit of taunt in your deck just to help you, just to put up a blockade really if you are taking a lot of damage. I don't have much other taunt in my deck because I do have a fair bit of removal, so just having 2 taunts in there is enough for me. It suffices with this deck. Holy Nova is a great AoE removal. instead of a single removal with the Shadow Word Pain, it can get rid of a lot of low cost minions, or even heal up some of yours. And if you do want to adapt this deck with Enrage cards, much like the Gurabashi Berserker, it can combo off that quite well, and obviously you get instead a 5/7 with a Holy Nova, so it is good in a way. Silverhand Knight is another one of my favourite cards. Some may argue that it isn't really that great to have in your deck because it is a 5 cost and essentially you're getting a 6/6 because of the squire that's summoned with it. But I beg to differ, and I do like having the card in my hand. It's quite nice. It's like an upgraded Razorfen Hunter really, and I do run with 1 Mind Control. I don't really see the point in running 2 Mind Controls because often I find once 1 Mind Control's been used, you do have the advantage of the game, and you don't really need to use a second one, only for a bit of flair if you do. So I only roll with 1 card in there. But yeah, I hope you guys have enjoyed looking at this deck. I am going to bring you some gameplay now of it, and hopefully it's going to be a win. So yeah, we're going to go jump right into the game and I will start the video then. But I'm just going to slowly scroll through it just so you can get a reminder. 2 Silverhand Knights, 2 Holy Novas, 2 Senjin Shieldmasters, 2 Chillwind Yetis, 2 Clerics, 1 Injured Blademaster. I would opt for 2 if you do have the cards. Shadow Word Death, 2 Faerie Dragons, 2 Oozes, 2 Pains, 2 Spirits, 2 Clerics, 2 Shields, 2 Smites, 2 Silence. So yeah, let's run into some games.
The light shall bring
Okay guys, so you're back.
The light shall burn you.
We're up against the Priest, which is quite a good example. Coming out of this hand, I don't really like to have Mind Control. It's a bit of waste. Death as well, not needed. I'm going to keep Spirit as well, just in case things do go wrong. I can use it with the Cleric combo. Unfortunately, we've been drawn with another really bad hand. This is not ideal at all. The only thing positive about it is possibly the Shadow Word Pain. But we can't do any turn 1 Northshire Clerics, which is the ideal. I'd say an ideal hand to start off turn 1 would be 2 Clerics, 1 Spirit and 1 Power Word Shield, because it is good. But for now, I think we're going to pull out a Faerie Dragon, just because it's a minion and we do need to get a little bit of board advantage. The positive thing also is if he does have a Shadow Word Pain, much like me, it can't be used against the Faerie Dragon because obviously it can't be targeted by spells or heroes. Okay, so he's going to kill the wave into a 3/3.
Is someone injured?
Okay, Cleric with Divine Spirit. See, that's the type of play that I mean is effective. So now what I have the option to do is use my Shadow Word Pain and get rid of that quite quickly. I do know Divine Spirit can't be targeted, can't be used with the Faerie Dragon because obviously it can't be used with friendly spells either, which is something that a lot of people don't realise. But yeah, that takes that out straight away. And then it's 3 damage to the opponent. Some may say that I might have wanted to save the pain, but I don't really want the Priest that I'm playing against to get a better draw card than I have. That tells me that he does possess a Shadow Word Pain in his hand, because he just tried to target the Faerie Dragon. He hasn't been able to, and so that's nothing nice to have. Also, I think he may have a Holy Smite, which is something that you can notice when you do play a player. Okay, so I'm going to pull out another Faerie Dragon, because obviously you can't target that one either. And that's 2 minions that are just sitting there, and he can't do anything about, and it's nice to note that he does have that in his hand. Okay. So, he's dropped a Taunt. And I do have a Yeti. But what I could do now is I could Silverhand Knight and effectively take. He will get killed by the Squire will get killed by a Pain. But I think the best bet is to trade these 2 dragons for the Taunt because we don't have any, you know. Or other turn, I could get a Chillwind Yeti out and that can't be killed by Pain. It can be reduced by Holy Smite though. But we'll trade these 2. But yeah, see that's when Ascension Shieldmaster can come in handy, and that's why I keep it within my deck as well. But I don't think he is going to use a Shadow Word Pain, but he does have a Holy Smite, I'm pretty sure.
We must cleanse the Sunwell.
So obviously he doesn't have another minion, otherwise he'd use a minion first and then use the Shattered Sun Battle Cry. And we do get a Shattered Sun Cleric of our own. So what we could do, I think that's going to get Shadow Word Pain almost immediately when it gets put on, but it's good to use the Battle Cry now.
We must cleanse the Sunwell.
Get rid of the Cleric. 5/5.
Job's done.
Next turn, the Shattered Sun Cleric. Hopefully, I am right and he does possess a Shadow Word Pain within his hand. But that's an okay board advantage at the moment. The Shattered Sun Cleric's done its job by giving it +1/+1, and that's why we keep it in. The other option is for next turn is to Divine Spirit that Yeti and have it as a 5/10, which is quite scary. But the other thing is, because it has been buffed, it is buffed. It is vulnerable to the Shadow Word Death, or even the Silence. But now it isn't. Now it's not going to be possible to attack with a Death or even a Pain. Okay, so Holy Nova has just been used, and I was right in saying he did have a Holy Smite, but that hasn't effectively cleared anything. So the option is now I am at 7. I know he's used one of his Holy Novas, so the good thing would be to do is drop down Silverhand Knight
attend me.
and
Ready, sir.
heal the Yeti up there, making full use of our hero power.
Push forward.
That's 7 damage, and we still retain a little bit of card advantage and a massive board advantage against him. A Holy Nova again could kill 2 minions off, but instead he's going to use the Shadow Weapon. 3-1. So at the moment all seems to be going quite well. If he ends his turn here, I'm pretty confident how I'm playing. And the Acidic Swamp Ooze is quite nice. I'm going to heal the Yeti up again. And this time I'm going to play Divine Spirit on the Yeti. And get the Ooze out for a bit more minions.
To battle.
And now we've got 10 damage. And we've withered the priest down a lot more. So now the thing is, he's got to get some minions out. Mind Control was the fear when he did turn to turn 8, so that's something. I've got Silence to get rid of him, so I'm not worried at all. Do that, silence him. And then what we'll do is we'll buff
We must cleanse the Sunwell.
To battle.
and trade.
If you insist.
I have made a mistake. That's why I would trade, but obviously it hasn't, because the Yeti is a 4/5, not a 5/5. So we've kind of effectively got rid of his Mind Control. I can see where people would take a second Mind Control here, because if the one Mind Control they did, like I'm saying right now, did get taken out,
Is
there is a
someone
second
injured?
chance to use. But again, being an 8-cost card, it's open just to easily be picked off by, for example, an
If
Ooze.
you insist.
Fail.
Push forward.
And I think we will use Divine Spirit on that just to make sure it does that.
Push forward.
If you insist.
Okay, so now the only disadvantage we have is that we are down to 1 Holy Nova, and we haven't been lucky with any Northshire Clerics or Novice Engineer draws, which it is good to show you the worst possible scenario that you could land yourself in like that. Okay, so a Summoner
We
is
must
open,
cleanse the Sunwell.
and a Holy Smite. I have the option to Holy Nova, which is fine, and a Yeti's out, which is brilliant as well. So what I could do now is trade
Push forward.
the Pint-Sized Summoner, not trade, kill that off, or kill that, but I think I'm going to kill that just in case. Then I'm going to heal that, get the Yeti out,
Job's done.
and just keep that Holy Nova with me just in case he does get a second card out. So I know that I will be able to reduce 2 cards.
Let the pain speak to me.
Acolyte of Pain is okay to use, I guess, now, but I'm not really going to give him the time of day and attack him. And it looks like it could be a victory for me, and it is a victory. So, Holy Nova, 1 damage,
Push
another
forward.
bit of damage. That's a win. No, still 30 health. And I get a free takeoff. So, I hope I've given you guys something to think about with this deck. It is what I think is quite a good deck. You did say that was my first game. I did generally just walk into Platinum League and using that deck. And it does show you that a simple beginner's deck like that can compete within the Platinum Leagues if you are working your way up through the ranks. So, I appreciate you guys watching. I'm sorry about my voice, it's a bit croaky. I had a bit too much to drink last night again. But I hope you stuck with me, and I hope this deck works for you. As always, guys, leave comments, suggestions below about what you may want to put in, what's probably better to put in. I'll take on any suggestions, and it also helps out people who are actually going to use this deck. So thanks again for watching, guys. Please subscribe, and also if you like the video, give it a thumbs up, and that's all. This has been DFK. Thank you very much, guys.